Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet actress Tati Gabrielle is back in the headlines, and of course, not for anything good. She had a lot of things to say. Specifically, she confirmed that Hollywood has a responsibility to basically indoctrinate people because their minds are precious, and she specifically wants to target young people. Not only that, she addressed the backlash to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, and she predicts that many of the people who obviously did not like the game are going to actually buy it and that they can stay mad. Let's get into this right here. I wrote this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. Gabrielle did this interview with Italy's Super Guida, and she was asked, how important is it for series to give young people the tools to recognize a toxic relationship? And this is what she answered. I think it's the most important. I've always felt, and this is something that I carry with me in my work, that Hollywood, from filmmaking to series, has an incredible responsibility to reflect the world back at itself, to teach us, to remind us where we've been, and to let us know where we should go. So to me, I think it's so important, no matter if you're making something that is fun and sort of silly and a comedy piece, or very much so, especially with drama. Young people today, more than ever, get taught by the internet, get taught by TV and film, so you're handling very precious minds. In that way, and particularly when it comes to healthy relationships, and especially say at home, they didn't have an example of that, whether from their parents or their family members. Even more so, do you need to take the responsibility to go, this is what can happen, and this is what should not be. After sharing a brief anecdote regarding You and how a number of women have expressed that they want the show's serial killer to stalk them, Gabrielle said this: be aware to not fall in love with false promises, to know one's worth as a woman. And I think, too, for young men, to teach them that, yes, it's, of course, fall in love with the girl, but treat her with respect, treat her with love. Women should do the same for their men, of treat them with love, treat them with respect. There is not one without the other. Men and women, we need each other to create the world. We both have very, very powerful strengths, and those are to be celebrated. Later in the interview, she was asked, were you hurt by the controversy surrounding Intergalactic? And she said, I was, to be honest. It's sad to see that, video games, I think even more than TV and film, you have so much more world to play with the imagination, and we can demonstrate what the world can be in ways and worlds that we would never dream of. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because you're literally dreaming of the world to create it in a video game. So you are dreaming of it. Anyway, she went on and said, and so to know that there was so much hatred and so much backlash, it was hurtful. But at the same time, it was empowering for me to be able to go, okay, well, this is where the world's at. And I think in order to change the world, you have to meet it where it's at. And two, to go 10 times harder than what it is that I'm doing. She continued saying, like I said, Marion taught me to not back down for anyone in anything. So in that way, I took the hurt, I swallowed it, and I turned it into fire. And I feel like those same people that were hating are going to play that game. And guess what? They're going to love it, so they can be mad. I think that is a very bold prediction. I don't think that is going to be the case. I think we've seen a plethora of examples to the contrary, where people chose not to play the games that were being marketed antagonistically, marketed with hate, marketed with people who are clearly spouting all kinds of woke nonsense, as Tati Gabrielle has and has been doing over the last couple of years, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But first off, let's go back to those original comments where she's talking about how Hollywood has this incredible responsibility. And I actually agree with her that Hollywood does have an incredible responsibility. However, she is wrong in asserting that its job is to reflect the world back at itself. No, Hollywood and all those who work in it must adjust their economic, political, or artistic and technical aspects so as never to oppose the common good. That is what they should be doing. That is the incredible responsibility that they have. Pope Paul VI explains this in Inter Mirifica, that this does not mean one should not portray moral evil. On the contrary, he shares that the narration, description, or portrayal of moral evil, even through the media of social communication, can indeed serve to bring about a deeper knowledge and study of humanity, and with the aid of appropriately heightened dramatic effects, can reveal and glorify the grand dimensions of truth and goodness. However, he issues this warning: nevertheless, such presentations ought always to be subject to moral restraint, lest they work to the harm rather than the benefit of souls, particularly when there is question of treating matters which deserve reverent handling, or which, given the baneful effect of original sin in men, could quite readily arouse base desires in them. And ironically, Gabrielle gave us a perfect example of that when she's talking about how these women literally wanted the serial killer to stalk them. So they were supposedly creating a show that's trying to warn women and people of these bad behaviors of this toxic individual. And what has it done? It's literally driving women to want the toxic individual to stalk them. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Anyways, as I said, we can look at some of her previous comments, and she's clearly aligned herself to oppose the common good. This can be seen in her response to gamers criticizing Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, and The Witcher 4 for pushing DEI and feminist agendas. She shared this fan art to her Instagram by this person, Lauria. You can see it's titled Fragile Masculinity. You've got the two characters drinking the drink. So DI-licious, you mad bro. So you can see that she's clearly promoting these agendas, right? These agendas that are contrary, that are opposed to the common good. Furthermore, while she now claims that men and women need each other to create the world and they have their own strengths, which is to be applauded, she previously promoted gender ideology back in March 2023, which literally says the opposite, right? She said this during the Unforgettable Gala, and she said, as far as with non-binary and transgender, I hope that we just start seeing that the future is here, whether we like it or not. We need to not just accept it, but embrace it, embracing something and seeing not only the beauty in it. There is no beauty in gender ideology whatsoever. It is ugly and evil. Anyway, she goes on, but the way that it contributes to the world and contributes to the way that anybody of any gender, race, creed, color can form their identity and can walk through the world with pride and their chin up high, like I think is so important for the generation coming behind us. She also told the list in 2023, I feel that film and television is supposed to reflect the world back at itself. So she's saying the same things, right? She's saying the exact same thing that she said just 2 years ago in 2023, now in this interview with Italy's Super Guida. And she goes on and says, when you do that with the characters that I've played in a way that is grounded, that is normal, as it is in our everyday life, that's how you give the best homage to someone who is standing in that field. She even noted that the industry should take things even further with the LGBTQ plus agenda. She said they can go further, as opposed to having just one character that is LGBTQ or non-binary. Make it reflect the way that our society is, sprinkle more in there. That's absolutely not true. She's not trying to reflect the way the society is. As we see in this most recent interview, she's literally trying to change the world. She is literally trying to push her own vision of what the world should be, and she's trying to do that through propaganda, through indoctrination, through these movies, television shows, and video games that she is taking part in, which she readily admits that's what she is doing in this interview. Like, that is what she's doing. They're telling you they're trying to indoctrinate you. They're trying to propagandize you. They're trying to normalize this stuff. And then they're doing it by gaslighting you as well, saying that that's just the way the world looks. And this is not true. It's not true on any measurement whatsoever. It's not true. The networks can listen more to the fans and pander more to them by listening and understanding that when they're shouting their outrage toward things, it's not just because they want to be bratty and they want to be whatever, but they want to be represented properly. They want to see themselves. We all watch movies as children and find a piece of ourselves in a character, and that's what gives us inspiration or hope for our own future. If they listen a little bit more, we can go a lot further. It's kind of ironic, right? She's the one telling people to stay mad, etc. She's mocking them. Yet, when it's the ideology that she wants promoted that people are complaining about doesn't get enough, she's totally fine with that, right? Double standard, right? Double standard. But they don't care about the double standard. They don't care about the hypocrisy. It's all about the power to push their agenda so they can get more control. To that point, Gabrielle also said, more shows should have a consultant of some sort. In LGBT, if you're going to touch on our field and in that topic, have a consultant. Have somebody that you can directly ask. Don't guess, because that's often the problem. The showrunners that we had for the 100, they tried and they were trying to be inclusive with that, but I think they didn't have enough education and enough information around it. Have a consultant or make sure you're educated. Absolutely not. Consultants in this case would just be total propagandists trying to, again, wage war against the common good, which is what Tati Gabrielle is promoting throughout all of these interviews here, even this most recent one with Super Guida. But let me know what you guys made of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.